So this video is going to be called, Is My Kid Transgender? So I know this is a little bit of a controversial subject, and I just want to start this out with saying that if you think your kid is trans, the first thing that you should do is go and ask them. Because you'll be surprised at how self-aware a lot of kids can actually be about their gender and their gender identity. The next thing I want to say is that there is no way to know if your kid is trans. Even if you could 100% trust your kid, they may not be aware of what they're going through and what they're experiencing. And you should never just assume that you know what is happening in any situation, but especially one where it can affect someone's life. My biggest advice for people who have a trans child, besides just asking them what they need and what they want and who they are, is to really take a step back and understand that you can never understand what another person is thinking or feeling or experiencing, and to try and put yourself in a position of controlling or limiting or demanding that a child behaves a certain way is not going to be good for that child in the long run. The next thing that I ask you to think about is, does my child feel safe talking to me? And this can be a very knee-jerk reaction kind of question, like, of course my child feels safe talking to me. But ask yourself deeply and really listen to yourself when you're asking this question. But think about any times that your child has felt scared to tell you something. And think about if there's any behavior that you may be doing that could make them afraid to speak about something in that way. And you might understand a little bit more about if you need maybe some outside mediation to help with your child. I think therapy is a tool, and it can be really useful, especially if we're not in a place where we know how to deal with the situation. And if you think your child may be trans, but you're not sure if they feel comfortable talking to you, maybe you should try and find a space where they do have support and guidance from people who are non-judgmental, not going to push them in one direction or another, but are just going to support them as they figure out who they are. And I think that is the best thing you can do to give your child support. I think a lot of time as parents, we want to help our children get through certain obstacles, and it can almost come off as pushing them sometimes. And I think it's just really important to give people the space that they need to figure out their own journeys. And in my journey, I'm just really glad I had the space to figure out who I was without any voice telling me this, that, or the other. So the long story short of this video is, I can't tell you if your kid is trans. You can't tell your kid if they are trans, and their kid might not be able to tell you if they're trans either. So have a conversation about it. Be open to being wrong. Be open to having new levels of understanding, and be open to getting help if you need it, because there's a lot of good help out there. But make sure you do your research. Make sure you are listening to people who have different experiences than you, but also make sure that you are trusting yourself and your intuition and knowing what is right for you, and letting your kid trust their intuition and knowing what is right for them. And with that, I hope you have a wonderful day. I thank you for your time, and once again, much love always.